Hey friends, I'm back from Sedona. Spent a week there at the retreat, and this video I think will just be about the retreat itself. And then the next video would be probably my my reflections on the stuff that happened, my personal experience or experiences from the retreat. So this video would just be about the event itself, and then the next video will probably be about my experiences or reflections um, regarding the retreat. It's uh, it's interesting because I kind of don't feel like I'm ready to even talk about it. I've been home for a few days now, and I think it literally feels like I'm still processing what happened, because so much happened. Um, so I kind of don't feel, I almost feel like I'm rushing it, um, on making these videos. But I guess that's why I probably feel like I could just break it down into two parts. Like the first part is like the events and like what happens at the retreat, and then I think the hard part for me, or not the hard part, but the part that I don't feel ready to talk about yet, is the experience or reflections of the events. Only because I'm still, it just feels like things are still filtering, and uh, maybe the final outcomes haven't fully occurred yet, but are in process. It was a very life changing event. And I know I said that the last time, but um, I just I can't help what I experienced and felt. But to get on with this video, so we were back at the same facility, the Sedona Conscious Living Center, um, hosted by Sonia and Anthony or Tony, and the staff. And it's still the same amazing place. Um, yeah, I just can't say enough about the energy that's put into that facility. Um, but it was another great event. The structure was pretty much the same. Where first day, I think it was Thursday night, it was like a welcoming, a meet and greet. We had opening ceremonies. Uquala, the medicine man. I forget the name of his tribe, but I do remember he said that his tribe is considered to be the protectors of the Grand Canyon, and they're the only tribe that's allowed to live on the Grand Canyon floor, or the floor of the Grand Canyon. Um, he's a pretty amazing guy. It's not a job. He actually lives this lifestyle. Um, when he talks, uh, it's with a purpose, and um, there's like weight behind what he says. So even if he's, in the role of uh, Equala, the medicine man, doing, I don't want to say performing because it's not an act, but when he's doing his thing, by, I don't want to say like spirit because I don't want to like overstate something, but he's very in touch with who he is. And then when you speak to him as the human being, he's still very in touch with who he is. He's a very incredible man. Um, yeah, he's very good, full of purpose, and wisdom, and it comes out in like different ways. Sometimes he's very serious, and then sometimes he'll like say things lightheartedly, but it's good stuff, for lack of a better term. So yeah, the first night we did the opening ceremony, Uquala greeted us, welcomed us, and then we did a fire ceremony outside in the back. Um, I think I did well. I don't not think, but I did do a like walk around one day, one morning, um, of the facility. I didn't go inside because I didn't ask Sonia if it was okay to record inside and put it on YouTube. So I just went on the outside of the facility. So if you want to kind of get a look see on uh, the facility, then you could check out that live video somewhere, probably in the live section on my page. Um, Very beautiful. Still, it looks the same. It's just amazing. But yeah, so the first day was opening ceremonies, meet and greets. Uquala blessed us and welcomed us, and then we did a fire ceremony, and I think that was it. Oh, and then we got as we like came in, we got our spirit animal, our team. So we're broken up into three groups, just like last time. But this time, the theme of our group was a spirit animal, I guess, and they were all birds. So I think there was the owls, which was my team or my group or the group that I was in rather, and we were all obviously we were the best group, but the other groups were the hummingbirds and the eagles, but we were all birds. But our group was the best, the owls. Um, but yeah, so we got separated with our groups, and so that's how um, the rest of the trip was, or the rest of the retreat was broken down. Was you just followed your group. Each group had like its own schedule. So our group, first day, we were with Debbie, and then we broke for lunch, and then we went to Kevin. Um, I think there was a galactic event mixed in. It was a night event, probably that night, uh, which I did not attend. And then the next day, which would have been day, I don't know. So Thursday night was the opening ceremony. Friday was the first full day, and that was for us, for our group. It was a morning session with Debbie. Then we had lunch, and then I believe it was afternoon session with Kevin. Day two, which would have been Saturday, we had a a general session, I believe, and then we went to um, I don't know how to like refer to this, and it always makes me pause because I don't want to be disrespectful of the place, but I just remember they called it uh, the stupa, and it was like a Buddhist sanctuary or something. There was like a mini temple, um, and then there was like a statue of Buddha on the side, and it was like in the mountain. And Carrie had, well, she didn't have to, but she did explain to the group like some of the ceremonies. So it's like a Tibetan Buddhist um, sanctuary or something, but there was like, I think they're called prayer wheels where you spin them like so many times, and maybe you say a prayer. I didn't get to do that only because other things captured my attention. And then there's like a little mini temple in this walk area. And then Terry explained to us that, there's a ritual behind that. But I'll get into that later, I guess. And then the third day, or after the stupa, I think we had lunch and then we came back and we were with Jeffrey. Um, and then I think we had dinner that night. A dinner at the facility. It was a vegan dinner, um, three courses, and then the next day was the final day where we had a general session and then closing ceremonies, and then that was it for the retreat part. And then for some of us, I think there was like about 12 or 13 of us that stayed uh, for the Reiki 3-4 attunement. The teacher, master teacher, something like that. So it was like a week total trip for me anyway. But yeah, so getting back, so the opening ceremony was all of that stuff. Then the class with Debbie. So Debbie's class was about being present. And actually this her class was about being present and like 100% in the moment, completely in the moment. um I thought it was very interesting because um I thought it was. And when she asked the question, she said, why aren't you 100% present in this moment? And I was the cocky guy thinking on the inside like, oh, I'm present, I'm here, I'm fully wide open. And then so she asked us to do like a little exercise, and so it was a guided meditation, and I realized that I wasn't fully present. And it felt like, so basically what I saw was like a shadow over like my heart space, and the feeling behind it um was that I was still protecting myself. Like I wasn't fully open. I wasn't like fully surrendering to the moment, or um, being 100% vulnerable. And I think, well, not I think, I know it was because there was a part of me um, that was still trying to protect myself, to make sure that um, I didn't do or say anything that would hurt myself or make myself look bad or something like that. And I thought it was very interesting because to follow that up after we saw that, then she had us partner up with somebody in our group, and the exercise was just to talk and express yourself about like your feelings on why you're not opening up, or you're not present. And the listener could only listen. They couldn't give advice. They couldn't say anything. They just sat there and listened. And it was such a great exercise, only because it gave you the opportunity to talk through without interruption. Um, so, like, part of it, the physical, was you saw somebody across from you. Um, you knew that they weren't going to interrupt. So you could go off on a tangent, or you could really spiral out um, on whatever it is that's preventing you from opening up. Right. And so I thought it was great because it set the tone for me for the rest of my time there. I actually adopted this theme for my theme for um, the rest of my time in Sedona. And it wasn't like just for the events, it was for everything, that I made sure that I was 100% open um, and present, with no guards, no walls, no veils, no commas, no buts, nothing, just 100% present in the moment, no distractions. And that's a pretty interesting exercise to do. So at first, it kind of takes a little bit of work to, I mean, not, it's not a lot, just because um, you're surrounded, being in this retreat. I can't speak for other retreats because I've only been to Sedona, um, with Kevin, Jeffrey, and Debbie, but this would be my second time. So I can't speak to what other places are like, but being, excuse me, being with them, it's very easy to open up. You just have to be willing to do it, to get to a space where you live in vulnerability and you're not afraid. Um, it happens very quickly. I don't know what it is. Still kind of haven't figured it out because I have like pondered that. But anyway, being present was my theme for the rest of my time there. So um, I just like took a couple breaths, focused on uh, getting to that place inside of myself, and things like opened up. Experiences came because of it. Um, and if I didn't, I knew that I wouldn't have the experience. Um, I realized it actually right away. Maybe on by the second day, I was having lunch with Debbie, and I asked her. I said we were talking about like, how did you come up with this? Like, was there a reason why you thought about this theme for your event? And I thanked her because it's like it was almost like it was. I mean, I don't want to sound like a narcissist or something, but they plan. It felt like the structure of the way everything went was for me, only because her class was my first class. And so if I didn't have that A theme, or this theme of being present, I would not have had the experiences that I had in Kevin's event, in Jeffrey's event, and my time, whether it was eating lunch, hanging out with people. Uh, I just wouldn't have had those experiences because I wouldn't have put myself in the right place. I would have still had like that shadow or that veil covering. Um, but yeah, it was very, very impactful and powerful, and it set the tone for the rest of my trip. And I thanked her, and it was just something. It was awesome, for lack of a better term. In Kevin's event, he talked about ancestral lines and healing them, and it's not the body's ancestral. So like, what is it that people use? The DNA thing. It's not about a DNA like body ancestral. It's about like your soul ancestral. So that maybe it's 23 and Me or something. I don't know. Um, but yeah, that's what his event was, and he focused that he gave like a very nice, uh, I don't want to say speech, but a talk, and then he did like a guided meditation, and Kevin always like tries to finish up with like a trance healing. Maybe it's not. I don't know if it's on purpose, but it just seems like every time we're together, that's how he likes to flow, where he finishes off with a trance healing, because he goes way out there, and um, like what's given is very powerful, sometimes very emotional too. um, he's very gifted. um, well, actually, I should say they're all very gifted in their own ways. They're all psychic mediums. They all are Reiki masters, but they're all unique, and they all bring something different to the table. And it's very interesting because uh, you meet them at the right time, and I say that because their energy is what you need in that specific moment. Whether it's to have like a breakthrough, whether it's because you're coming through a breakthrough or a transformation or um, whatever it is. They're the three of them are are very powerful and special, and so to have all three of them together, it makes for a great time. But anyways, moving on. Jeffrey, um, Jeffrey talked about the inner child, and he spoke a little bit about his journey coming to the event and having having come up with this topic. And I thought it was is very nice because he opened up also, and he became vulnerable. He told his story, and he talked about how he's going through uh, healing his inner child, and yeah, it was a very good experience. So I kind of glossed over or went quickly through Kevin and Jeffrey's events only because um, for some reason in both events I wasn't able to like fully dive into them because mediumship came through in during both events. So in Kevin's event, when he guided us through a meditation, I was following along, and then all of a sudden I don't want to say distracted, but like the path took me a different direction. And I'll just say someone's loved one came through, and they walked me through um I guess basically I'll just say they provided evidence for who they were, and then they brought forward a message. And so um once that was given, I was kind of like thrown off. And so it was really hard for me to like re-enter um Kevin's space because I had all these questions and wonderments, and um, I knew who the message was for, so I relayed the message to the person. Um, but I was wondering, or I don't want to say stuck, but I was trying to figure out how I got there, what happened, and the message that came back was because I was open. Um, I think Debbie and Kevin explained it to me. I was having dinner with them. I think it was dinner. Yeah, maybe it was dinner. And they explained it to me that things like this happen because you're at the same frequency as where spirit's at. Um, so I have this thing um, that I've been talking to a few people about where I see faces a lot, right? And it's been for months now. Um, and at the event, it was more pronounced than ever before. So usually, like, I'll see faces and stuff. I won't get any messages. Um, then when I met, then fast forward a little bit. Then when I meditate or I go there to in my space for healing. I'll see um, I'll see a face or two. At the event, I was seeing like every time I closed my eyes, I was seeing a ton of faces. And it wasn't like it was just scrolling through. Most of the time there's no message, sometimes there is. Um and it's I still haven't like, are they guides? Are they somebody else's people's? Most of the time it is. I can't really It's hard for me to figure out that part. So I think I get lost in that sometimes, like, um, what's your message? Why are you here? What are you who do you need me to contact or something like that? And then I think it was Debbie that said that I think it's just showing you that um, you're at a place, you're at the same place where they are, and you're meeting them. And it's not about a message; it's about a knowing um, that spirit is around. And so it actually made sense after she explained that part, only because there was a lot of times I don't get a message, um, and so I'm left wondering, right? Um, but yeah, that happened. So, anyways, rabbit holes, right? I'm really good at the spiral. Um, so that happened in Kevin's class, and then in Jeffrey's class, I think I was the first one to come in, and uh, Jeffrey was there meditating, and so I sat down, probably just like clearing himself and getting ready. So I thought I would do the same, and so uh, I sat down in my chair and I started to uh, open up or clear and be present and clear everything out. And all of a sudden, like right away, um, somebody came in, um, and then they showed me some things, um, and then it kind of like faded away. The rest of the class comes in, and then Jeffrey's talking, and then he uh, he starts talking, and then he gets us to start meditating, um, and then there's a pause where there's no talking, and then all of a sudden I just get a rush of emotions, and I just start crying. But I was sitting in the back of the room, so the only one that could see me was Jeffrey. And so he's like looking at me like, "Are you okay?" And I'm just crying, but I'm trying not to be a distraction. So it was it was just like this wave of emotion came over me, and um the person came back, and Jeffrey started the meditation, and like all of these visions came, and so I received a message, but I had to like go through all of this stuff. Well, not I didn't. I don't want to say it like that. Like it was an annoyance or anything, but um, the person that came in like showed me all of these things, and I'm going through all of these emotions as he comes in, and you know, he gave me the emotion, or he gave me the vision, the message, and I understood who it was for. Um, but I was basically in recovery. I was wiped out, um, because there was so much emotion. I felt really tired, and I really couldn't focus. Like after the person moved on, um, I couldn't focus on what Jeffrey was saying or anything like that. And so I was just trying to like calm down. Well, not calm down because I wasn't like hysterical or anything like that, but I was just trying to maybe come back to earth and get my bearings straight. And it took a while. But then I realized I had a realization like um about myself. And I don't want to say every time I do mediumship, but there's been a few times where I connect with spirit and I start crying. And it's not always because of sadness. Um it's just because there's so much energy. And I remember JJ, like she was trying to like help me through this. on the last retreat, and I've heard other people like Kim Copeland and Alice Leong. They also tried to help me understand like it's just a release. And I never like I heard the words, but it never made sense until Jeffrey's class. And it's it's not about watching somebody die. It's about receiving the energy. And the energy that comes in, I guess for me, it comes out through tears. And because I always got stuck on like, okay, I think because like the first couple times, what I was looking at made me sad. But then there was other times where I wasn't sad, but I still cried. And so I couldn't get it. Um, but I think this time in Jeffrey's class I did. And it wasn't about watching somebody die or something like that. It was feeling all of the energy. And for me, it comes out through tears. The release of the energy comes out through tears. And so, at first I was kind of like embarrassed by it. Then I joked about it, like, oh, Richie the crying medium. Um, but I guess now, like having that understanding, I'm kind of okay with, well, I don't want to say kind of, I am okay with it. I just, because I understand what's happening, and I don't feel bad about it anymore. So it was a very good class because of that, but it wasn't on topic, which was kind of unfortunate for both Kevin's class and Jeffrey's class. That's why I kind of like went through it kind of quickly, but it was very good class because of the experience I had and maybe the revelation that I had for myself. Um, so that night after Jeffrey's class, I believe we had our our dinner. It was a vegan dinner, three course meal, and then they did mediumship after dinner was over. Kevin, Debbie, and Jeffrey did a mediumship, and it was very nice to have. Some people find closure with things, or just to know that their loved ones are still with them, even though they're on the other side. It was a nice thing to see. And then the next day, which would be Sunday, then we had a general session like together. We had something else happen, I can't remember, but then I do remember we came back together and oh, maybe that was the stupa when we went to the stupa. And then we came back for, yeah, that's what it was. We had a little thing, went to the stupa, came back, had a little talk, and then came back at night for the closing ceremony, um, which was pretty cool. So we had um, the stupa. I think I did talk about that. The stupa session was amazing. Um, Probably my most impactful event um, at the retreat, but I'll talk about that in the next video. Um, when we came back for our general session, it was really cool. Jeffrey posed the question, what did we get out of the retreat? Um, and so everybody went around. We sat in like a horseshoe, and then everybody went around and shared um, what they got out of the retreat. And it was a great experience to see people be so vulnerable or work through it to the point where they could um, be very open about what they experienced, what they went through, the breakthrough or transformation that they had. Um, it was really inspiring It's like a lot of people um, had breakthroughs to the point where they're leaving a different person. I want to say it's safe to say that maybe that happened for 90% of the people that they had such a profound um, time here that it changed them. Um, it was very nice to hear everybody's story. Um, it was like one thing, one thing that they got out of it but it was really good. Then we fast forward to I didn't forget to share my experience. That will come in the next video. Um, but fast forward, the next event was the closing ceremony, and that's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's like an hour of meditation kind of thing. You go up and then like Terry was like calling people up. Kevin, Debbie, and Jeffrey were doing like Reiki healing on everybody individually. Everybody was actually laid. Well, most people were laid out on the ground, like on these mats, and they had pillows, and you just meditated. Kevin walked everybody through a guided meditation. I think Kevin did it, and then the three of them sat in the center, and then Terry would call up groups of people to go get have a Reiki session or a healing session with one of the three. And Ukwala was there playing he has this huge drum that he was playing, and it was like to the rhythm of a heartbeat. And then Sonia was doing the gong to the rhythm of a heartbeat. And everybody was doing their healing. And then after the healing session was over, Sonia changed. She's still playing the gong, but she started doing this like water. She started playing with water, and then she would like rub the gong a certain way that caused a vibration. It was like a low hum, but you could feel it. It was very impressive. She's so good with that gong. And then she did something else where it's almost like she was brushing the gong, which created a different kind of vibration or hum. It was just masterful to watch her play on. I don't want to say play, but to work the gong. And then everybody else played their own instruments. um, then we finished up. That took about an hour, and then we finished up, said our goodbyes, and then the next day began the Reiki portion of the retreat. So the retreat itself was very amazing. Um, for some reason, I always feel like it's too short. Even though I was there, well, the retreat part is like I think it was 3 days last year, but this time it was 4 days, and it still seems short. Um, so most of the group left, and then I think 13 of us stayed back for the Reiki portion, which was still powerful uh, because we're living in this space that we don't live at home. You know, are all over the place, scattered, um, maybe not uplifting, maybe not 100% open. And so, like, there's a huge contrast um, in the spaces that we occupied. So, like, well, I noticed that. So like my home space versus Sedona retreat space. And I guess you know, it should be that way because I guess that's what a retreat is for. Um like by definition a place to fall back to. So maybe like a place to fall back to spirit with. Um but yeah, it's very interesting. You kind of don't want to leave it only because you're living in a place of wonderment and awe and magic is always happening. Um and you're more open to see it. I think that's what's special because magic happens all around us. We don't see it though. We don't see the synchronicities happening in front of us because we have so many distractions in our way preventing us from being able to witness it. So I guess that's probably why um we get so excited when we do see synchronicity. You know, it's a special moment. But living in Sedona at the retreat, when it happens, it's Thursday. You know, it's just another thing. It's nothing unordinary. It's happening all the time. Whether it's to yourself, or you witness it in others. I think that's like the beauty of it. Um, but the Reiki part was also a good experience. We we received our final attunement. Um, then they taught us about you know the history of Reiki. Well, it was a continuation because they taught us about the history of Reiki. It seems very structured and very like time honored. Almost like you don't want to do anything to like be disrespectful of the practice. And you know, and speaking of the history, it almost seems like uh the old masters wanted it that way to be sacred. But I guess, you know, through time and evolution, um, the rigidness maybe like falls away and becomes a little more free flowing, and it allows for your own expression to come through. Um, well, that was my takeaway of it by listening to the three of them speak on it and stuff like that. And then so we also did a practice attunement where we attuned um another person. We also did practice Reiki, which was another experience only because like part of it is Reiki and then part of it is like psychic ability and part of it is mediumship, and it was like that for everybody that I touched or had to work with. You know, you move the energy, you're in tune with the person, and then things just start coming through, you know. So it's kind of fun, playful, um, but serious at the same time. In a light way, serious. You know, serious because you know you're doing well, you're not doing the energy. You're just the conduit that it works through. But healing, I think, it doesn't always have to be serious. It can be playful, it can be humorous or lighthearted. Um, but it was a very, very good experience to be able to experience that. Um, and then we did, I think one of the last things we did was we did a long distance healing on somebody. And it was very rewarding. I mean, it's always rewarding to, I guess because I'm still new to this or not as experienced, I don't have like 1,000 patients or receivers, like different ones. So, anytime you witness um, validation, it kind of means something. And so it was fun to see like people receive validation um, on the healing that they performed on their receiver. Um, I would like to personally thank mine, Kelly. I'll just say her name, Kelly. You know who you are. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for allowing me the experience to help me grow and work on my abilities. I'm very grateful and I'm thankful for you for carving out some time and gifting me this opportunity to send you healing. Um, Forever grateful, Kelly. Thank you. Um, but that pretty much ended it. After that, there was just a couple of shares, and we got our certificates, and then we were on our way. Um, but all in all, uh, the retreat was amazing. There's so many things that happened. Um, Experiences were shared. Um, Transformation happened. Um, yeah, I remember asking. I was at the stupa, and I asked Buddha, like, "What is it?" Because I was in shock. Well, not shock, but in awe about how like special that stupa felt. Um, and it's the same question that I asked myself about the Sedona Conscious Living Center. Like, why does this place feel sacred? Or like, some people say like walking through a portal. I try to avoid like all those words, but it feels like you're walking to a different space. You're not just walking down the street into like a shopping mall or even I don't know. You're just not walking into an ordinary place. Like when you enter, it's almost like you're going someplace else, right? And so that's how the stupa felt, and living in the conscious living center. I didn't sleep there, but I just say living because I spent most of my time there. But the message that I received was it doesn't lie. The sacredness is not in the location, but it's in the intention that's placed. And it really made sense once when I heard that message. It made sense because to witness the energy that's placed in the retreat through Sonia, through the helpers like Karen and Sue, um, there's a lot of thought that goes into it. There's a lot of like wish and hope that putting the napkin down a certain way will make for a better experience. Or maybe sprinkling some flowers on the edge of a plate that has food on it will bring somebody joy. Um, Maybe the creation of a new dessert, and the hope that um, it hits or it provides comfort to somebody. Like you can feel all of that, and it sounds weird. Most of you will understand, but it might sound weird, but you really can feel it. You can feel it in everything. So even like in the stupa, I don't know who built that thing, but like you could feel the sacredness. Maybe it's because nobody's talking, um, in like the main area, but there's like a hum to it. And then you feel it not because nobody's talking, but just because you're open to it, you know? So you're always walking around in wonderment and awe. And to live in that space for a week, I wish everybody could feel that because it felt like anything and everything is possible. So if you came there with the hopes of having transformation, you could have it. If you went there with the hopes of healing, you can have it. Um, all you have to do is just be present, just walk, and everything will take care of itself. It's like everything is spirit led. There's so much intention involved. You're in a place where everything and anything is possible. And back home, it's not that way, right? Only because we have other focuses. Like, is our spouse okay? The bills getting paid? How's our kids doing? Work is a pain. You know, the car needs work. How am I going to make ends meet? I don't have enough money for this month, or whatever it is. Not to dismiss it. Those things are real. We live in these spaces, but to experience a different space where anything and everything is possible and it actually does happen for yourself and for others, and you witness it. I think well, not I think, I know it's something that I wish everybody had the opportunity to go through. I feel so blessed by Kevin, Debbie, and Jeffrey to have been a part of these two retreats. I feel so blessed to be able to, you know, walk this walk with JJ and Terry and Alice on the first trip, um, and so many other people. Like, they weren't there for me; they were there for their own experiences and have their own, um, special moments. But I still feel so blessed that they were there. Sometimes literally to hold my hand, sometimes figuratively to hold my hand or give me a push, um, or just to give me a hug. When um, maybe I needed one. Um, so I guess in closing, a lot of I heard a lot of chatter before we left in the past about like, oh, you don't need to go. Like, do you need to go to a retreat? No, you don't need to go. Um, and I actually agree with people that say that. Like, do you need to go to a retreat? No, you don't need to go to a retreat. You could still have these experiences back home. Um, but it's so hard to recreate. It's so hard to get yourself to the space where something like that can happen. So basically, you're having transformation without the trauma. I think it's probably the best way. Well, maybe it's not the only way, but it's a way, right? It's an opportunity to have transformation without the trauma. Maybe you do relive some of it, but you don't have to like be walking through it to find the other end, right? Or to walk out of it. You could do that at the retreat. I don't want to say all retreats, but at this one with Kevin, Debbie, and Jeffrey, you could do it, and you can do it in a space where you're surrounded by people having the same moment. You might not be doing the same transformation or healing the same things, but you're with people that are also healing or transforming, and I think that's why there's like a brotherhood, a sisterhood, that comes out of this retreat. Um, Tom was never in my group both times, but he's like a brother to me because we shared moments outside of our events. We shared moments, um, and we had the same breakthroughs. Um, it's nice to see people grow and expand, and to see that expression because of the times that we've shared at the retreats. So, yeah, do you have to go? No, you don't have to. Uh, but I wish everybody could. I wish everybody could take time out for themselves to see, uh, to find the end of their tunnels, right? All the stuff that we're dragging along through life, you could find a nice place to leave it, to drop it off at Sedona and then move forward without it. You know, awesome experience. Thank you to Kevin, Debbie, Jeffrey, and then the Sedona Conscious Living Center. Um, wow, I'm not gonna cry, but it was something special, and I hope everybody gets a chance to have that experience. Um, so part two will be coming shortly, and that will be my reflections on the experiences that I had, where I'll go down rabbit holes, because Kimmy told me to keep doing that. Thank you, Kimmy. Um, but yeah, I'll share that. And also, there's 9 days left in the month. It's, well, when I'm filming it. There's still some time for those of you that are would like to receive a daily energy blessing. If you go down into the comments and just say I'm interested or add me to the list, I'll put you on my list. I'll give you an energy blessing, a nice big hug from Richie, and some Reiki. And yeah, that's all you had to do. I'll leave my email. I'll try to remember to leave my email in the description. Also, you can send me an email. I think it's richiesreach1@gmail.com, or just put it in the comment. Just say I'm interested, and I'll put you to the list, with a couple other people. All right. Thanks for listening. I know this is a long one. Normally, I go a lot quicker, but I guess I had a lot to say. So thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit. See you guys on the next one.